Hello everyone, my name is Chris Morse and I'm going to be taking you through lesson 4 in our working knowledge training. This one's going to be concentrating on running reports. So basically what we're going to learn is how to run a report, or create a new report. Next thing we're going to learn is how to create a saved report. And then we're going to learn how to create an automated report, which basically will send out an email with a copy of that report that we select on a certain day at a certain time to people in our list on our email. Keep in mind, in order for this to work, you have to have email set up on your system currently. Last thing we're going to do is, once we have these created, we're going to learn how to delete them or how to edit those saved reports or automated reports. And just to go back over this, a saved report basically puts an icon on the home page in VRS that you can just click once and basically run your report, so you don't have to go through the steps each time. And so you're aware, the steps that we're going to do, I'm going to go over here to my VT3000 wall login screen here, welcome screen. I'm going to select go into VRS2. You can see my home page. So the steps that we're about to go over to create a report are exactly the same for any report that you run. So we're going to go through this once, and I'll explain each step, and just keep in mind that the steps are always exactly the same. They never change. So for our purposes here, we're going to select to create a new report and a category. So basically the templates for the different reports are broken down into categories. So there's like communication reports, there's downtime reports, there's a custom one if you have a custom report, analytics, there's an export, basically gives you an export to Excel, production where it does counts and shift runtime and that type of stuff. So for here, we're gonna select communications, and once we have that category selected, we're just gonna hit the next button. And here like I was saying, we have individual templates that are categorized as downtime. So we have like an average resolve time, average response time, or number of incidents. So I'm just going to select number of incidents, and then I'm going to hit my next button. And so then here are variants. And so basically when you have a report or a graph, you have the bars at the bottom. So this is saying what are the bars of those bottom going to represent. So this would be the different months of the incidents, right? Or weeks of incidents, days, data. If I had data fields, this would separate those out by device. In other words, station 1, station 2, station 3, it'll give you a total number of incidents. Monitoring points, so this would be for the individual alarms, right? How many times has maintenance been set? How many times has lead been set? And filter groups, something we'll get into at later dates. Shifts, so any shifts that you set up in your schedule, like we learned in lesson 1, you could break it down by that. Obviously, break it down by hours. Time is where you specify from when to when, and tabular, which kind of just gives you a table view of the report. So for me, I'm just going to select to break it down by device. And I'm going to go ahead and hit next. So date range, there's some options here. So you can, by dates, which will allow us to do 100 days, and we're basically going to select those dates. That is by weeks. So select the year, and then what week of the year it is. As you can see, there's 52 weeks in a year. The other one is months. Basically select the year and what month you want to see. And years, essentially just what year to what year. For here, I'm going to just go ahead and select dates. I'm going to basically click inside the box. It's going to give you a calendar to choose from. And I'm just going to go back here to, I don't know, like say here. I'm going from March 1st to March 28th. So once I have my dates selected, go ahead and I hit next. And then here's your data source. So basically say, what do you want to include in it? So everything. It means every device, just throw it in this report. The other thing is input devices. I can select a specific device that I wanted to add in here. If I had multiples, I could hold my control key down and click on different ones. For this system, I just have the test PSM. The other option is filter groups. Like I say, it's something we'll get into another lesson, the advanced lessons, and then we can go over what you can find out what filter groups are. But if we had any, they would show up here and we could select those. I'm just going to say everything. I'll hit next. And then the time frame. So basically it's saying, what if you want me to include this information for what time period. So none means just everything. It's all time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's just going to throw it in there. Full day, and that goes back to our schedule. So when did you say that the day started? And so, like, let's just say the one I did, I believe my day started at 6 a.m. I only had one shift, and it ended at like 3:30. So full day for me would be 6 a.m., 3:30 p.m., and that's all it would show me on the report. Shifts, so this would break it down by the actual shift, because you would basically select the schedule, and so for this shift here, there's three, so you can select which shift you wanted to see, or multiples, again, control. So full day, basically you just got to select the shift. Specified, so basically this allows you to say, like, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll just put a space in here. And next. And this will give you options. Actually, I'm going to go back here. I just want to say none. I just want to take everything, because I don't know if there's any data in here. If I hit next, basically it's going to say this is the name of the report. Minimum duration doesn't apply to number of incidents report. This is like the y-axis, so it's the incidents, then compare by. So what you could do is, you could compare it by the different options here, by monitoring point, by device. So if there was multiple devices, you could put them side by side so that they could all kind of level out to one another. I'm just going to say none because I've only got the one. Show values. So what that means is that I'm going to show the number of incidents on the actual bar itself. In this one here, I've got different charts here. I could do a bar chart, I could do horizontal, or I can do it by the line. Just go ahead and leave it on bar chart. So once you have your options, and each report will have slightly different options, you can just determine which ones you want from there. Once you get those all set, you just hit next. It's essentially just going to give you a summary of everything you selected, right? So it's a number of instance reports. I'm breaking it down by devices. Here's my day range. I want everything, no specific modules. Time frame, I want everything, so I got nothing selected. And then here's my options, which, like I said, I changed. I wanted to show the values. So once you've confirmed that's correct, just hit run. And as you can see here, it's broken down by device. So I got my test PSM. It's saying I got 4 incidents. If I click this, it's going to show me, which the incidents were, like what alarm was those incidents. So there was 2 maintenance incidents, 1 lead incident, and 1 supervisor incident. And, basically if you break it down further, this was for me, this was the employee that was on the system when it was activated. So it's giving me his name as the data field. Anyway, just hit the back button, get back into this. They'll break down. For this one, it's going to basically break it down by the device. You can click it and get it broken down by the alarm. If there's any data fields, then you would get this part. If not, then basically here would be the end of the report. So once you've won to run a report, and let's just say we want to run this one every day, so we don't want to go through all those steps every day. What we could do is we could lock it down so that we only have to just hit one thing. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this window right here on my module, and I'm going to come back and I've got my VRS page. And as you can see, I've got some options here. So I'm going to convert to a saved report. So I click on that button. It's going to say, hey, what do you want to call this? So I'm just going to call it save to test 3. Oops. Guess that didn't work out too well. Okay. So offset. So this is saying like when you run it, if you don't want to set up any dates or whatever, you can say, okay, well when I run this, I want it to be from yesterday or from 2 weeks ago, whatever it is. So like if it was weeks, so you would say, yeah, go from 2 weeks ago to 1 week ago, which basically would only run it for 1 week. If you went from 0, it would basically run it from 2 weeks ago until right now. So for me is, we'll just say I always want to offset it for last week. So I would go back, say 7 days till, just till now. So it would always give me a 7 days. From there, if you remember all these steps that we selected, that we set up, essentially here we can lock them. If we put a check mark in here, then it basically locks that step and it doesn't ask us any information. So if I click all those, now I've got all that locked up. I'm going to hit save and exit. And as you can see, now I've got that save test one that comes right here on my home page. So if I just click it and I hit next, it's basically ready. I just hit run. So now instead of having to go through all the steps to get the report, I just basically click that one button. So I'm going to go ahead and if you click on this icon, it'll basically take you back to the home page in VersaCall reporting software. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another report because I want to show you guys how to set up an automated report. So we're going to create a new report. Let's call it downtime. Let's do downtime bar chart. Basically hit next. The variant. I want to have it show me the breakdown by monitoring point. Hit next. Date range. Once again, like I said, I'm just going to go from the 1st to the 28th. I don't know how much info is in here. And then data source, remember, was where we could select individual modules or filter groups. I just want to get everything. And then here is the time frame, which is set to full day. So I just want to do none because I want everything. And the other options here were, by shift. What shift do you want to see? Or specified from certain time to a certain time. I'll just say none. Next. Options. So minimum duration of downtime. So if you didn't want to see like anything less than a minute, you could enter in I just want to double check that it was in seconds there. So you could just enter 60. So anything that's, under 60 seconds, so it's not going to show on your information. For me, I'm going to delete that because I don't know what I have in here. But basically, that's the report name title. This is on your y-axis is the downtime. Compare by. Once again, you could set devices up side by side to show, for if they all had a lead alarm, they would all show lead, and then it would say station 1, 2, 3, and 4. They'd all be right next to each other. Show values. This again is to show that value on that bar chart. Here again is our chart type. There's a bar chart, horizontal bar chart, or a line chart. Just going to leave it on bar chart. Hit next. Once again, I got my summary of all the different things that I got. And I'm going to hit run. Essentially now you'll see like it's telling me this is how many minutes. That one's been the total minutes of maintenance alarms for that day. This is giving me that data breakdown again. Lead, same thing. This is like I say, it's just telling me the total amount of minutes that was supervisor was active for my time period, which is the 1st to the 28th. And this is for that one. So essentially what you want to do is the same thing we did on the save report. Go ahead and close. And we come back here. And we have this convert to automated report, which is what we're going to want to click on. This real-time report is something we get into in advanced training, so we'll explain that at a later date. So automated report. Same steps. Give it a name. And once again, the offset. So when it does run, how far back do you want to go to run it from? So I'm going to do the same thing again. I want to run it for last week. So from 7 days ago until right now. I hit next. And then here's where I'm going to say, hey, when do I want to run this? So there's every day, every week, but they're essentially the same thing. We're saying, so we're running it every day, and you pick the day that you want to run it. So like, let's say I want to run it on Monday, and then I would select a time slot. So like say every Monday, run it at 1:30 a.m. and it'll run that report. The other thing you can do is every hour, and you select, hey, at a quarter after, run this report. Run it every hour at 15 minutes after so that I can get this report. I'm going to go back to every day, and I'm just going to say I want to see it on Friday. And I want it to run at 4 a.m. So I'm going to uncheck that. So basically just click in the box to check mark it, and that's which day it'll run. So I'm running on Friday at 4 a.m., and it runs every Friday. Go ahead and hit next. And so the report format. So how do you want to present that bar chart that we got? So we can send it as a PDF file or as like a JPEG file. The other thing we can do is we can send it as an Excel file, but that just basically gives you Excel spreadsheet, no graphics, just raw data. Maybe what you want to happen. Anyway, so those are your choices there. A PDF, which is an image, which is an image, and Excel spreadsheet, which gives you raw data. So here's where you would enter in who you want to send or email the report to. So just say John Doe at VersaCall. So he would get it. And if you needed to add multiple people, just put in a semicolon and then like send to myself here. Right. So now I'm sending this out to John Doe, and to Chris Morris at VersaCall.com. So the description is kind of for you. Like if you want to say, I can't remember what this one is, but let's just say it was an incident report. So incident report for week. So we know that, hey, that's the one we run every week to get our total number of incidents. So once you get this, now we're going to hit save, and this is going to bring me to a page where all my automated reports are. So I'm going to show you how to get back here in just a second, but basically that means you created an automated report. So I'm going to click this icon so I get back to my main home page here. As you can see, I got my saved one, and we know that we created our automated one. So the way that we get in there to look at those and possibly edit them if maybe we did something wrong or we need to change the frequency or whatever it may be, we go up here to where we have options. And as you'll see, there's automated reports and saved reports. So I'm going to do saved reports first. So click on saved reports, and as you can see, save test 3, number of incidents, bar charts, and it's selected by devices, right? Owner just means that no one's it's only looking at that I'm an administrator, so it doesn't really give a name. But if an individual person was logged in through the user, like we explained in lesson 1, then their name would show up here. Date offset, like it says, it's going from 7 days ago to right now. From here, if you click this, you're basically going to delete it. Be careful when you delete it because it doesn't ask you if you want to, it just deletes it. The other thing is this little pencil icon is for editing any of the variables that we set up. So like I'm going to click on it, and essentially I can uncheck any of the options that I locked down so that when I run it next time it would actually ask me what I want to use. I could change my offset, could change whatever from dates to weeks. I could change the name of it. Anyway, make all your changes, and basically it's save and exit, and that'll update it there. The other option here is automated reports, where you can select from options. Same thing here. It's got the name. It says when it's running, so every day at 4 a.m. on Friday, right? So every day just means that it's run on Friday. If you selected every day of the week, then essentially it means it's run every single day of the week. This is the people I'm emailing. This is when it's run, so it's never been run yet because it's not 4 a.m. in the morning on Friday. Then there's this action tab. So basically click that. It'll actually run right now, and it would send out that copy of that report to the people that are here. Get the X again, which is delete. Just like save reports, click it, it gets rid of it. Be careful because it doesn't ask you if you want to. And then, like I said, we have our pencil here to edit. So if we click that, we can come in here. We see our offset. We can change these to 10 days ago. go to thing. We can, change this to, 3 a.m. and say we also want to run it on Sundays and Thursdays. Next, then we have, our format. So I want to send you to an Excel. Same people though. Hit save and exit. Now, as you can see here, run every day at 3 a.m. Sunday, Thursday, Friday. Still send it to the same people. That's basically all we have inside the VersaCall reporting software to run reports. Like I said, always remember to click that and you come back to your home page. I am going to minimize this and we're going to come back to our PowerPoint. So we'll go down here to the summary. And so in the summary, as you can see, we learned how to run reports. We selected the template. We selected a variant. Selected the date range, data source, a time frame, and whatever options that we wanted, adding them or removing them. And then we went on how to set up how to create a saved report, and then how to set up an offset, and then how to lock those steps down. And then for automated reports, we went into how to set up an offset, how do we add a time slot, how to select a report type, entering in those email addresses. And we also got into how to edit those once they're saved. We got Prac App. It's basically the same thing. I tell you guys all the time. I suggest you do it. It's just telling you to run a report for all the templates that you have. Select all the variants. Just see what they all look like. Change the options. Just get crazy so that you can just see how things can change. So the same thing with a save report. Make one, run it, edit it, delete it, whatever. Just make sure you understand it. Same way with an automated report. Here's some links that go to our wiki page, and I'm going to go to one of those and really in a minute here, just like really good one to go to, especially when it gets into some of those steps. So this is just the overall page. This is how to create a report. This is one I'm going to go to in just a minute. The options, this is allow you to select what options on that last page, how to make an automated report, and save reports. So I'm going to just go to this one here. So basically, as you can see, it's just following you created a new report. So step one. So if you go to this page and you click on this, it's going to tell you, okay, for analytics, these are the reports that are in analytics. If it's a production, these are the reports that are available in production. So that way you'll know which one to select. And then once you do, then step two is selecting the template. So it's broken down here too. Communications will have these templates. Downtime will have these templates. Production, these templates. And then if you click on it, it's essentially going to show you, hey, this is kind of what your report's going to look like, right? Obviously, usually differ, but it's basically just giving you an overview so you can understand, well, what am I going to get? So average resolve time, what's that going to show me? Be just a minute here. And as you can see, this is like an example of an average resolve time report. Whoops, I made a mistake there. Let me get back on this page here. My apologies for that. So same things with as you go down, export to Excel. This one's important because it will show you what those different variants will look like on the report. So as you can see, this is for days, right? So it's giving you the day here. And so devices. So this is broken down by, device B and device 1. Anyway, it's really helpful. It's going to explain, what all the days mean, all the different ones, everything, input group, a filter group, all the shifts, the full day, kind of explains how to do it. And then at the bottom of it, it'll give you step-by-step instructions on how to run any of our reports. Go ahead and close this, get back to here. So I highly suggest doing that when you're starting to run one, just so you can get to know what each of one of those pieces means. Thank you for your time today. Hope this was helpful, and have a great day. Thank you very much.